today about the first deal that I did, very first deal. But I'm going to give you a lesson from a slightly different angle. Uh, I had started in 1999, right around Thanksgiving time, actually. And right the day after Thanksgiving, I had just spent probably 30 hours listening to these cassette tapes of Ron LeGrand's over and over and over again. And the only thing I knew how to do at that point in time that he had mentioned, I didn't know how to do marketing or anything else. I went directly door to door. I just drove streets. And within an hour, I found the first house. In fact, the house literally had a lease option sign on it. And I did my first sandwich lease on that very first phone call. Now, don't expect these kinds of results when you're out there doing it. I was just very blessed and fortunate at that point in time. But the important thing is there was a method of marketing that I took advantage of, and I made a ton of money over the following 3 or 4 years. In fact, when my dad retired from his job, we put him out driving for dollars, or driving streets. And so I was, at that point, I was only working in one town in California, and we literally drove up and down streets. He did, I did, and every place there was a for sale by owner sign or a house that looked like it was vacant, house, grass overgrown, papers on the porch, that type of thing. We'd find an address for it, and we could go back and find the owner. Yeah, even back then, believe it or not, technology was good enough that you could do that. But nonetheless, out of probably the first 600 deals that I did over the first 3 or 4 years, probably 100, north of 100, were deals that we just found literally driving street by street in the towns. We got it down to a science where we actually would go out on, we find the day that a garbage service was going to be provided. Where I live now, it's, in fact, truck just came by, so it's Tuesday morning. So we would make sure that we drove those neighborhoods according to the garbage pickup, because frequently what you do is you'd find people out there, and we go to areas that were more, today they'd be called gentrified, or more people who were retired lived. And so you'd see the guy out there picking up his garbage can or whatever. My dad was excellent at this. He'd just pull over and start talking to the guy and say, "Hey, do you know anybody in the neighborhood who wants to sell? I saw a house, a couple blocks over that looked like," and these people would always know everything. And so they would give you all kinds of leads. It's like, no, nobody here wants to sell, but my brother, in northwest part of town, he wants to sell. So here's his number, call him. And so we ended up getting a ton of deals that way. It's when you're first starting, it's probably a good way to get started, to actually learn the business, is just grid a section, a zip code, or whatever you want to do, as much as you can or you want to do, and just literally drive up one street, down, come up the next one, down, and you just go slowly. You go slowly, you can do it by yourself. You can look out both sides, and you're looking for rent by owner, for sale by owner, or houses that look like they have been abandoned. And you're starting to see a lot of those again out here in the market now too, because as the economy has changed and the forbearance agreements have come to maturation, and people are now defaulting on the post forbearance agreement payment plan, you're seeing houses that are abandoned because these people just can't make these payments. So it's a good way to get started. It's cheap, it's free, almost free. Gas is very low and inexpensive, except here in California right now. And so it's a good time to do driving for dollars if you want to look at properties just in your own town. Now, we always advocate doing a virtual national program, but if you want to get started, it's a good way to kind of learn about houses, learn about styles, learn about areas, that type of thing. I would never recommend you do this for a long-term career in this business, but it's a good way to prime your pump. And like I said, it's relatively inexpensive.